Let's just imagine that you've got family coming round for Christmas Day. You're cooking. It's the first time you've ever cooked a dinner for your family. Stick with me in this analogy. I just thought of it, by the way. And you've got all your ingredients. You're gearing up for it. It's in a few days' time. You go and check it, and you see that the lamb it's gonna expire on Christmas Day. It's gonna expire. You've got a few days to go. A bit of a window to sort it out, and you decide, do you know what? I won't bother buying some new lamb. I won't do that. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to just see what happens. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. Possibly jeopardising your dinner for the whole family on Christmas Day. That is what West Ham have done. Okay, I know it's ridiculous. Ignore, apologies for the analogy. That is what West Ham have just done on this transfer window. Just taken the most pointless, stupid risk for no reason that they could have just dealt with, and it wouldn't have cost much money, wouldn't have been hard to deal with, but they've just decided on a whim, let's just sod it, let's just go for it. Fingers crossed, it'll be all right. That seems to be West Ham's strategy for this January transfer window. Fingers crossed. Let's just see what happens. The reason I'm saying that, and I'm not talking about strikers, I'm talking about the defenders. We've sold a key player. We have sold Craig Dawson, who is a key player for West Ham. There's no getting around it. Who has been, a mainstay for the last couple of years, a big figure in the club, very reliable, put in great shifts. And let's be honest, one of the key components as to why we've done so well in the last couple of seasons in Europe and, finishing above Tottenham and Arsenal and all these kind of things. Craig Dawson was a key component to that. We have sold him. Now, I'm not knocking us selling Craig Dawson because I know the reasons why. It was personal reasons for his family and it had to be done. I do get it. But make no mistake, we sold Craig Dawson to a relegation rival this season. Fact. That's what we've decided to do. And I get why. But why wouldn't you replace him? Why on earth would you then go, don't worry, we don't need to replace him? You don't need to replace a player that's been that important to you. I mean, and to then have this kind of bizarre attitude of going, well, we've got the defenders, we've got Zuma. Zuma's out. He's injured now. He is injured. He's out now and he could be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Okay? Which is, considering how long we've got left of the season, that's a fair percentage of the season. He's not going to be playing football. And they keep going on about these injections and saying, well, they're going to try and do this and, and all this kind of stuff and trying to put a spin on it. Well, it's ridiculous. Oh, okay. We've got Nair for Good. Nair for Good, by the way, our best signing of the summer. Absolutely. And can see him as future captain. Delighted with him. He's just come back from a really, really serious injury. And not only did he come back from an injury, he then got injured again at the World Cup. So there's no reliability there. We're taking a gamble on him. And then you've got Ogbonna, who's not only aging, but again, has just returning from a very serious knee injury. Why on earth would you just sit back and go, that's fine, we'll live with that? We're in a relegation battle. We are fighting for our lives in the Premier League. And West Ham are just going, let's just take a gamble. Let's keep our fingers crossed. With the lamb. Oh, forget the analogy. It was rubbish. But you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. I just cannot believe it. And actually, I'll tell you a lie. I'm lying. I can believe it. It's almost like we're becoming a bit hardwired to this now and kind of going, this is what West Ham do. It's just bizarre. If you remember, 12 months ago, we were all absolutely furious that West Ham didn't strengthen in January because at that time, we were challenging for Champions League spot. We were doing well in the Europa League and we're all going, just strengthen. Go on, add a couple of more players. Go on, let's have that final push because we might actually win a trophy this season. We might win a European trophy. We might finish in the top 4. That could happen. And we just went, no, keep our fingers crossed. That'll do. Let's see what happens. And what happened? Well, our season derailed, didn't it? Let's be honest, it derailed. Yes, we finished 7th. Yes, we got a European spot, but it could have been so much better. And I actually do think when you look back at it, that January could be one of the catalysts as to why we're in this position now, that why things have gone so bad in a sense, because we didn't push on. And we've just done it again. We've just stood back again and done the same. It's like we never learn. Whoever is in this boardroom making these decisions, I just cannot get over it. And then there's the other argument that the club will flip out, and especially David Moyes. Well, we were looking and the right option didn't come up. Well, other clubs don't seem to struggle with this, or Everton aside, who seem to be doing their best to win the Shambles of the Year award. They're neck and neck with us at the moment. But them aside, everyone else seems to have strengthened. You look around and you're thinking, well, they're adding players. Players have added a player yesterday. We've got players, Bournemouth. They're all strengthening their squads. I'm not expecting West Ham. I was never expecting West Ham this January to go out and spend £100 million. I was never expecting anything big. I don't think any of us were, especially after the summer. I mean, we can talk about that another time in terms of the summer business, because let's be honest, on the face of it at the moment, it's not working. You know, and Ferguson aside, let's be honest. No, and Flynn Downs, of course. I'm not overly impressed. You know, I'm hoping that'll change, but that's where it is. So, but what I'm saying is, I wasn't expecting the club to do a lot of business. I really wasn't. I don't think any fans were. But just go and get a couple of loans. Just get some support. Get another centre back in. So what happens now if Zuma's now ruled out for 6 weeks, okay, which could well easily be the case? And then let's just say against Newcastle, Ferguson gets injured and he's out for a month. What do we do then? What do we do against Chelsea and Tottenham with no centre-backs? And only one being Ogbonna? What happens? We put Creswell in with him and then just start losing games? It's so bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. I just, honestly, I cannot get over it. Cannot get over it. It's a bizarre gamble because it's all self-inflicted. Once again, West Ham have just created a situation for themselves. And another thing that really gripes me about it is that we are starting just recently, and let's not get overly excited about it, not get carried away, but a recent upturn in results. We seem to be getting a couple of decent results on the spin. Mood's starting to lift a little bit. What a great time just to add a couple of little players in, just bring a couple of loans in, just to lift the fan base again, just ahead of Newcastle, a big game. No, we won't bother. As I say, it just doesn't add up. It's not as if you're going to be taking huge risks and doing what Chelsea are doing, you know, spending vast sums of money and getting players on huge long contracts. You know, a 6-month deal for Nat Phillips, for instance. Why can't we be doing things like that? Why can't we be thinking on those lines? Thinking, let's just get a player in just for a short-term loan, get them in, get them playing, get them fit, and get, you know, amongst the squad, just so that if there is an injury, someone can step in and deal with it. But no, we haven't. We've decided to take the gamble. Now, look, this could be fine. I could be eating my words, and I really bloody hope I am. I really hope that this proves to be not an issue, and we get out of this situation quite comfortably. And they go, well, say we didn't need to do the business. And I hope that is the case. But my point isn't that. My point is, why take the risk? Why put yourself in a position when you could have just avoided this easily? I don't care what they say. The players are there available. They are available. We're watching everyone else strengthen. We're watching everyone else get loans and bits and bobs done. And we're just sitting still and just going, well, I mean, we spent a whole window again after a player, again, that wasn't interested ever in coming to West Ham, in Moffey, Terran Moffey. He said this immediately in the beginning of the window. He wanted to stay in France. I want to stay in France. So what do West Ham do? Continually hedge their bets on this player. Well, we're fingers crossed, we put a bed in, we're hoping, we're going to try and convince him. Why? The second the player says, I'm not interested in playing for West Ham, immediately go, no worries, move on. It doesn't matter who the player is. I just don't get the philosophy of this football club. And even with all the years that have passed, even with the change of staff, you've got the Rob Newman at the club now. It seems to be this bizarre strategy to still exist. I just don't understand the logic. And again, another window wasted. I'm not knocking Danny Ings. I really, really rate Danny Ings. I think he's a great player, fantastic finisher, and brilliant for Southampton. And that's why Villa bought him. And he's done well for Villa. He's done well this season for Villa. But it wasn't really what we needed, in a sense. Like, David Moyes keeps alluding to this every time he has an interview. He keeps saying, the issue is we're not scoring goals. That's our problem. We're just not scoring goals. I don't see that. It's not as if we're outplaying teams every week and creating them 20 chances a match, and then, you know, it's 0-0, we're losing 1-0, and you go, God, if only we had a finisher. That isn't happening. What's happening is we're just not playing. We haven't been playing well, David. We've been conceding goals left, right, and centre. Our defending has been shocking. Yes, things are starting to look better. We look a little bit more solid, granted. But these are with players. That's your best team. That's your only backline now. If we get injuries, we're in big trouble. And so I just don't understand it. We needed pace. I felt that that's what our team side lacked. Danny Ings isn't fast. It's another transfer window in January that's gone past, and West Ham have just not dealt with it. They've just not performed. And look, it could be fine. I don't want to see doom and gloom, because things have got a bit better, and I don't want this to be, but I feel like I'm getting off my chest. But my argument is, it's a silly risk to take. And let's be honest, the last time we took this gamble, we were in different realm then. We were more angry. We were angry at the time because we thought like, well, the opportunity was there. Why didn't we just try and push on? Everyone was saying it. Everyone. We had Tony Cottee on the show here, and he said those exact words. Like, why didn't we just invest? It was just opportunity missed. Everyone felt it. Everyone could see it, but apart from our club, for whatever reason. But this time round, West Ham could get relegated this season. We actually could get relegated to the Championship. And the club has still just gone, don't worry about it. Just ignore it. Honestly, I'm stunned. Well, I'm not stunned, as I said. I'm not stunned. I'm never surprised by the incompetence of this football club. But that is bad. That is really bizarre. And they better pray that this doesn't come to bite us, because the fans are going to be absolutely furious if this starts falling apart. Because let's be honest, all it's going to take is one injury. If Naya Fagerd gets injured, touch wood, he bloody doesn't, this is going to unravel fast. Fans are going to be absolutely furious that suddenly we're going to be in a vulnerable position with no backup. We're going, well, you've just had January. You've just had January. It's crazy. But I don't want to be too doom and gloom. Look, Newcastle coming up. We've just won 2 games on spin. Yes, it was only against Everton. Yes, it was only against Derby. But still 2 wins. You can't knock. If you're going to knock losses, you need to praise the wins as well. And I thought they both were pretty decent performances. I thought Derby, we played very well, looked very solid. Yes, they're League One, but they're doing well in League One, and they were at home. I thought we dealt with it very, very well. So that is a very real positive. The proof is in the pudding. I love that phrase. The proof is in the pudding, and it will be on Saturday, because West Ham are going to place Newcastle United away from home, and we have got to put in a good performance. We need a result. We'll come to that in another video, but it's a big gamble by West Ham, and I hope it pays off.